People asking me, Brian, can you tell some stories when you're a kid? Well, I'm going to tell you some. These are good, funny ones, these. I remember once my mum had no money, didn't have a penny. It was in the 70s, this, and we didn't have a penny. I was about, what? I think I was about 9-year-old. My brother was 6. He was in the infants, I was in the juniors. So there was a load of books at school, paperback books like that pamphlet ones like that thick, about Africa and about different places and different things. It was like they'll throw them out because they were all a bit ripped and stuff. So me and my brother got them. I think we got about, I can't remember if we got any, but we got a load of them. We went on the doors, selling for 10 pence each. Like that went for 10 pence each, went on the doors, and we sold all the books. We got £2.60, I think it was. So it must have been 26 books, wasn't it? If I got that £2.60, I think it got £2.60. But in them days, £2.60 was a lot of money. You got to remember, you could buy a Mars bar for 3 pence in that day. I think it was even less. I think it was 2 pence. And me and my brother, we had to walk. We walked all the way on, but we come home late from school. We come home at 6, and my mum, where the fuck have you always been at 6? I thought I've got the place out me and everything nearly. And I was down shouting ball. I went, oh mum, we've got some books. No, I tell you what, we got rid of them all. We had one book left. We kept it. It was one I kept. One little book left I kept. It was a good one. I liked the pictures in it. And I couldn't read and write properly when I was a kid. So I got the books. I showed my mum, oh, we've got these books, mum, off the teachers, this, because we're going to throw them in the bin to anyone who wanted them. So we went round all the doors and we made £2.65. My mum just burst out crying because she never had no fags, no butter, no food in the house and out. So it got us, not loads of food, but it got us dinner for the day and all the stuff. So my mum went to the shops with us and got us some bits and bobs, bought us a few sweets for me and my Bobby. But yeah, just as a little kid, doing little things for my mum. We used to live in the Hartlepool. And on the embankment there was railways, and they used to bring the coke. They used to bring it from the trains. Used to bring it, and we had coal fires then, and the trains would bring it, or British Steel on the top of the embankments. We lived at the bottom of the embankments. So what we do is we get a couple of buckets and a couple of bags, like big thick bags, and we'd go on the railways and go up there with the buckets. And when the coal trucks used to go by with the coal on for British Steels, because what it does, the coal melts the steel, the heat. So bits of coal when it jerks like that will fall off the trains. So we used to go up, you know, Bobby, and we'd get the coke and we'd put it in the buckets, come back down 2 buckets and then go back up. And it was about a mile there and about a mile back. We do that 2 or 3 times, you know, like 3 times. So we actually done 6 mile walking plus all the miles you've done on the top, just to get coal for the fire because it was freezing in the house. Well, daft little stories like that as a kid, doing little jobs for your mum and that, and used to go to the shop. And when we lived in our little street where we lived, there was a little cul-de-sac, and there was about 20 houses in it. And Vulture lived across the road from us. Vulture was my mate, and Richie also, I didn't know Richie then. And Kev Rich used to stay at our house. Kevin, good boxer from Hartlepool, and his brother Terry in the day, passed away now. And we lived in Romaine Park. And Bob Roy used to live only there, and Kevin and Terry's sister lived in the corner. We used to go there in Romaine Park. It was a big, it's still there, it was a big bridge, big tunnel like this, massive. You get like a single bus in it. And we used to walk up there to the top, and we used to go to the beach and get coal as well. We used to get on the sand on the beach, and we used to take sandbags. But I used to take the bike, but the bike I had, I couldn't afford the inner tubes. Couldn't afford the tube, so what we used to do is we used to have the bike, take it all off of you get your forks and take the wheels, the tyres off, and we'd put a hose pipe inside, just a hose pipe, and it wasn't brilliant, it's like a bone crusher riding it, but we used to push it up the bank. It's a bit like that, you know, that Hoverside bit where you get to the top of the hill in the bank. We never had the coal going up. It was worse because we used to go to the beach, we'd get, say, 4 bags of coal, so we'd take them we'd go on the beach and we'd scrape the coal off the beach with a little shovel and scoop it into the buckets. So it was like sea coal. It was like sand, a little bit thicker. Never big chunks like that. It was little tiny thick bits, and sometimes you get bits of coal where they'd have shells in it, and the shells would spit out and hit you like shrapnel. So you had to have the fire guard up in front of the fire. So we go to the beach and we get the coal from my mum and dad, and we put it in. We put it on the bike, and we put we'd leave the bike at the top of the bank when we went down the other bank on the other side to the beach. Everyone will tell you Westview Road. Everyone will tell you, they all knew it. And we used to get that, and we'd come back with a coal, and when we would come back with a coal and you walked down the bank, the weight of the coal was pulling you down the bank. Your little feet were sliding down the bank with the bike, because it was a big bike. And you would get to the bottom and you take the coal home, 2 bags, and then go back for the other 2. And we'd come back with 4 bags of coal. It lasted a couple of days. Just little stories like that, you know. People, kids have lost all that now, all that stuff you used to do. And yeah, great days we used to do.